Hello there guys, Bilbo10000 here, bringing you another Super Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC leak theory video, and today we are talking once again about the Dragon Quest III boy himself. We're going to be discussing Erdrick. As I promised the other day, I mentioned that I would try and cover the massive Word document that was created for Erdrick following the thread that I covered about 2 to 3 days ago. Now, I originally wanted to make this a scripted video where I would script out all the points in the Word document and discuss them with you guys, but this document is just so large that I thought it would be better instead for me to scroll through it with you guys and paraphrase what it says. So this video is not going to be scripted, but we are going to be discussing Erdrick. Before we get into today's video though, I just want to give a shout out to everyone who has followed, subscribed, done anything for this channel. You guys, honest to God, are the most amazing fan base I could ask for, and I just want to once again shout out, because I do this at the start of all my videos now for some reason, I want to shout out my Minecraft Ant Farm Survival series. We are halfway through the series now, it ends on the 19th, now is a great time to get involved. Link to the first episode in the corner in the top right. Minecraft, brilliant game. Really glad that it's getting a resurgence this year, and the series has just been going over really well with a lot of the fans. So if you're interested, as I said, links in the top right. So Erdrick, let's start with this Erdrick's Path of Promise to Smash Word document. And honestly, I'm gonna be completely real. I am very much of the opinion that Erdrick is brave. I really do think Erdrick is brave. I have been of that opinion for a while. I wish that I could change that opinion because I don't really want Erdrick myself, but I am of the opinion that he is brave, so all of this is just bolstering my argument that he is the next character going into this. So, the first page, who is Erdrick? Erdrick is the main protagonist of Dragon Quest III, and is the most recognizable and iconic protagonist from the Dragon Quest series. They have two notable designs. There's the Kid Erdrick, and then there's the Adult Erdrick, which is the one that I'm hoping is actually going to be used in Smash. I feel like the Kid Erdrick just wouldn't really make as much sense. So, Dragon Quest is important because it laid the groundwork for future JRPGs. I can accept that. I don't know if Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest came first, but I do know that both franchises were extremely influential in the JRPG genre of games, and without them, we may not have got some of the JRPGs that we know and love. Now, Dragon Quest's importance as a JRPG cannot be understated when you find out that it actually inspired series like Pokemon of all things, and as it says in the document just further along, it did come before Final Fantasy, which is a major point for Dragon Quest, because everyone likes to go to Final Fantasy as the JRPG franchise, but Dragon Quest came first, and Final Fantasy I in the NES even gave Erdrick a little Easter egg, which, you know, pretty cool. It also inspired Shin Megami Tensei, which also became Persona because of the spin-off, so that's another facet of the JRPG timeline that Dragon Quest has inspired. It makes sense why Dragon Quest should be in Smash, just based on its influence alone. There is also a Easter egg in the Japanese version of Zelda 2 that has a gravestone that says, "Here lies Lotto the hero," which is a reference to Erdrick, and is very similar to the Final Fantasy reference for Erdrick in the Final Fantasy game, which is all interesting. And of course, Dragon Quest III is honestly one of Japan's most beloved and favorite games, and I don't understand why, but if you love it, Japan, you love it. Apparently its launch was notorious because children and adults across the country skipped school and work. They skipped having to do actual life stuff to buy this game because it was such a big game, and it's because of this that Dragon Quest games no longer launch on weekdays. Damn, that's crazy. I didn't even realize that. The government had to outlaw the release of Dragon Quest games on weekdays. There's also a nice picture here just showcasing all of the reviews of Dragon Quest III, and obviously all the reviews are stellar. 4s out of 5s, there's a 7 out of 10, 30 out of 40, 5 stars, you know, the usual things. You know, it's what you expect. And according to a lot of polls, it comes up as a best game ever a lot of the time. and it expands on the previous Dragon Quest games greatly. While Dragon Quest III keeps the same mechanics, its world and new additions were apparently revolutionary, featuring a more open-world experience than the previous entries that, while technically non-linear, were not to the same degree of Dragon Quest III's vast landscape. So in a way, Dragon Quest III could be considered one of the first major open-world JRPGs, and class systems as well. All of this really just points towards the fact that Dragon Quest III specifically, and just Dragon Quest in general, definitely deserves a spot in Smash in some way, shape, or form if we are assuming that Smash is a celebration of gaming history. We've got all of the franchises that Dragon Quest enhanced, and we just need Dragon Quest now. We just, and inspired, we just need Dragon Quest. So, now comes the lovely timeline about the data mine for Brave. So on November 28th, people found out about Jack and Baku, the codenames for Piranha Plant and Joker, but they didn't share anything. And then on the 5th of December, they found out about Brave. Now, this wasn't shared with the public. On the 7th, they did reveal that the Jack codename was revealed to the public, which, you know, we all found out. We didn't find out until January 3rd about the Brave codename, though. The data miners decided to keep that to themselves. Fair enough. You don't want to spoil the surprise. I completely get that. And then they released a whole bunch of stats for Fighter Brave. Now, I'm not going to go through all the stats because I don't understand them very well, but all you need to know is that the height stat doesn't matter because it's inconsistent, and that Erdrick, or if we're assuming it's Erdrick, would have a slide, and they say that the slide that people thought could maybe mean it's Sora, if it is Erdrick, it could be a reference to a victory animation in Dragon Quest Battle Road, or, you know, why the heck not? Not everything has to be about their game. Now, I do disagree with that somewhat, because you have characters like Simon and Richter who literally every single movement is about their game. Same with basically most of the third parties, actually. I think the third-party characters definitely get a lot of focus when it comes to making sure that pretty much everything is just a reference to something. So I don't know if 2 is necessarily as plausible, just given us what am I looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? Given what we have, what we can assess so far. So Erdrick the Brave. Erdrick is the most likely candidate to be fighter kind brave, and why is that? Well, Yusha, a Japanese word often translated as the brave or hero, is the title of many of the earlier Dragon Quest protagonists. Yusha is also the only noun form of brave in Japanese, meaning that brave is the proper translation of Yusha in certain scenarios. And why would Erdrick get in even if he is brave? Well, as stated before, Dragon Quest III is big good game, and Sakurai really likes the Dragon Quest series, because, you know, whenever Sakurai likes a series, it gets into Smash, except when it doesn't. But he says he really likes Final Fantasy III and Dragon Quest III, and he remembers those days fondly, so that is actually big news. That is definitely big news. And he spent his recent holiday break playing nothing but Dragon Quest Builders 2, which everyone is assuming means, oh my god, Erdrick's coming. And he celebrated with Yuji Horii and others during Dragon Quest 30th anniversary, which is obviously great as well. And obviously, I literally just made the argument Sakurai wouldn't add a character just because they're from a game he likes, and to that I say Joker. Except, you know, I know that Joker was mainly because they were invited by Sakurai, but, you know, even so, I feel like Joker is just an easy pick. Nintendo would love Joker. Erdrick, I think, is a harder sell simply because the character isn't as relevant nowadays, you know? I feel like it's not really the same situation. I feel like they need to be treated differently. So let's keep on going. A genius business move. Dragon Quest has always performed poorly in the West, with few exceptions. Erdrick and Smash would be great promotion for the series in the West, while also pleasing millions in other parts of the world. And why would Nintendo want to promote Dragon Quest? Well, right now, we have got a fuck ton of Dragon Quest games coming to the Switch this year. We've got Dragon Quest Builders 2. We have Dragon Quest 11 for the Switch. We have got Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2. And there is a Dragon Quest X, Dragon Quest 10 coming as well. Like, Dragon Quest is going to benefit the Nintendo Switch, and it's going to be the go-to place to play Dragon Quest games now. The question is if those games are still going to sell well in the West, even with Erdrick and Smash, because I don't think adding a character into Smash guarantees that your properties are going to sell well, but I do think Dragon Quest is going to sell with that core JRPG audience. It's just whether they'll be able to get with the more modern gamers who are a bit less about random encounters and more about, you know, traditional Western RPGs as opposed to JRPGs. I feel like that's an audience that may still not really catch on with Dragon Quest, but I do think Dragon Quest will definitely be selling better this year just because of all of these releases. Other contenders for Brave. Okay, who else could possibly be Brave? Well, we've obviously got Sora. Sora fits the stats, but the issue is you could make an argument for many other characters, but you could also, but you can make that argument against Brave. Like you say, Brave fits the stats, but so can everyone else. So it's like the stats don't really help anyone at this point. And my problem with this, though, is, with Sora at least, and I brought this up ages ago, is that people are like, well, his Valor form in Kingdom Hearts 2 is translated to Brave form in Japanese, so clearly that means it's Sora. And I'm like, no, if they're going to bring Sora into the game, they're going to base it off of his Kingdom Hearts 3 design, because that's the most recent Sora design, or they're going to go Dream Drop Distance, because that was the last mainline Nintendo release that happened in the Kingdom Hearts series. And I just feel like the Brave form is just such a stretch. Like, we don't even know if he'd have his drive forms in Smash, and I feel like naming him after one random drive form when there's so many other things about Sora that across all the games, as opposed to just, appearing in Kingdom Hearts 2, makes no sense to me. I feel like it's a very massive stretch. There's also nothing related to Kingdom Hearts coming to Nintendo Switch, the closest you get with rumors of old games coming rather than the new Kingdom Hearts 3, because Kingdom Hearts 3 just can't run on Switch. It's not a deal breaker, but it doesn't help. Joker may not currently have any games on Switch, but Persona Q2 was recently released on 3DS, and a Persona 5 port has been heavily rumored, and was possibly even confirmed thanks to a Best Buy leak. However, Kingdom Hearts 3 has, not Kingdom Hearts 3, but Kingdom Hearts has released on Nintendo consoles, mainly the handhelds. I get it. They release on the handhelds, Game Boy Advance, DS, 3DS, but they still released. And for a time, Dream Drop Distance, which is a mainline Kingdom Hearts game, because all the games are important to the story, it is considered one of the mainline games. It was the only place you could play it at a time, so I feel like, and then they bring up Sora having an issue with Disney, but no, we've been over this. Disney and Nintendo aren't gonna have this crazy issue. Disney are okay with Sora going into Smash. We know this. This has been confirmed multiple times. I don't understand why this is still an argument, you know? They say that Disney and Nintendo have not had a good relationship lately due to Nintendo favoring Disney's competitors. Disney chose Universal Studios for a theme park, chose Illumination to create the Mario movie, but what about Disney games on Switch? Well, we've got Marvel, Ultimate Alliance 3, Disney Tsum Tsum Festival, but even then, I still think they're not gonna be... Disney aren't going to be assholes and just be like, no, you can't have Sora because, you know, you decided to build your theme park somewhere else. No, that's not how that works. Disney knows the demand for Sora. They would be dumb to not take this opportunity if given. I just feel like people are making a mountain out of a molehill with Disney's relationship with Nintendo. And of course, Square Enix is involved in there as well. We know that Disney would be happy to have Sora, and Disney aren't really the problem with the negotiations, so I don't see why this is always brought up as an argument against the character. That being said, Erdrick's still more likely, but, you know, it's just worth noting that Sora could still 100% get into Smash. Even assuming Disney would allow Nintendo to use Sora, that still doesn't mean they would pick him. You can argue Sakurai is a fan of Kingdom Hearts, and while that is true, judging by how much love he seems to have for Dragon Quest and how much he writes about the series, he would likely choose Dragon Quest over Kingdom Hearts. Thing is, I don't think Sakurai decides everyone with just his heart. I imagine that Nintendo have at least some power in deciding which way he's gonna go. I still think Dragon Quest is more likely, but I feel like the arguments against Kingdom Hearts here are a little weak. Like, genuinely. I mean, I don't think Kingdom Hearts is as likely as Dragon Quest, as I said, but the arguments against Kingdom Hearts are a bit weak in this document. So, Banjo-Kazooie. Hello! While I do believe Banjo is likely to be in, he most likely isn't Brave. I also kind of agree with this. I don't understand why people think Banjo is Brave. I don't see how the codename would relate to Banjo or Kazooie. It doesn't make sense. And I feel like Brave is going to get revealed at E3. Not Brave. Banjo will probably get revealed at E3 if he's in, unless it's Minecraft Steve. And only the stats make sense, and there's apparently a save data corruption glitch. So when the 2.00 update first released, there was a glitch that would corrupt your save data if you used certain characters in certain modes. The characters were Piranha Plant, Mii Sword Fighter, and Duck Hunt. This was not the first instance of Duck Hunt and Mii Sword Fighter causing a glitch either. The theory from some is that Mii Sword Fighter was used as a base for Joker, and Duck Hunt was used as a base for Banjo. Characters sometimes use other characters as a base in order to save development time, and this theory would imply that Banjo is brave. However, it's entirely possible Joker had no base used for him, because the characters are extremely unique and they don't have bases sometimes, like Ryu in Smash 4, and okay, that makes sense, all makes sense, but even so, I still think that the evidence for Erdrick is just much higher than the evidence for Banjo, at least for being brave. I feel like Banjo could definitely come, because I really do think Microsoft is going to get a character, but, you know, I just don't see it being Banjo. I just don't see Banjo being revealed next. I mean, that is an E3 announcement right there. That is something you want to put at E3, because you know people are going to go insane for it. And given that Microsoft and Nintendo are the only two people that are going to be at E3 that are of any worth, because Sony are deciding to skip out on it this year, you know, it's just the perfect time. So, other Dragon Quest reps. The Luminary. Can I just skip over? Like, it's not gonna happen. I mean, yeah, arguably, he is, like, the only other person who could tackle Erdrick to be a character, simply because he is the newest sort of protagonist. And I mean, Android 17 right here, I mean, he looks exactly like Android 17, come on. Sakurai doesn't pick a character based on how new they are, and I agree with that, based on what we've seen so far. He picks characters that are arguably the most iconic from their franchise, or the ones that come from the game that kind of changed up the formula the most. So you know how Cloud got in over Noctis, etc, etc. So I feel like people would just be more interested in, even though people might be more interested in Luminary, Erdrick I think just makes more sense from the standpoint of the franchise, whereas Luminary is obviously only really representing Dragon Quest XI. It makes sense, this is a very good argument against him. But Slime. Now, for me, I do not understand the Slime hype. I don't, I'm sorry. My problem with Slime, and this is genuinely my problem with Slime, is where is his moveset? What would he do? I understand he's got spin-off games, but he's a slime. He doesn't have hands, he bounces around. I mean, as an assist trophy, he makes perfect sense, but I've never understood when people kind of try and justify that Slime has this crazy moveset that he could use and he would make complete sense, because no, he wouldn't. He would be this oddball crazy pick, admittedly, but I just don't see him making sense. I just don't see it. I just don't see it, okay? I don't see it. The difference between Slime as a mascot and Pikachu, though, because they bring that up, is that Pikachu can be an enemy and a teammate and is always a hero character in the anime, whereas Slime is just always an enemy except certain spin-off titles. And Pokemon is Pokemon. Dragon Quest isn't about the monsters, so why would a monster from Dragon Quest get the focus as a playable character? Makes complete sense. It's like when you go on Final Fantasy and you're saying, let's make a Marlboro fighter. No, wouldn't make sense. So, leaks and rumors. I have to say, very impressive that the 11 pages in, and there were no mentions of leaks. They mentioned that as well. So, let's do this. At the beginning of the Erdrick rumors, Vergaben was making claims about a Square Enix character being added, and I believe he did push Dragon Quest at some point. Which is interesting, but there were a lot of leak baits, and the list was Sora, Geno, Sephiroth, Kronos, Slime, Luminary, Erdrick. I remember this leak. It was when, like, 7 characters got revealed, and everyone was like, which one is it? It's one of them. Sora went around, Erdrick went around, Geno went around, but no one's taking Geno seriously, because let's be real, his wish fulfillment. I'm sorry, Geno fans. I'm sorry. But it seems like a lot of people are backing Erdrick. So, Vergaben recently has been confident in Erdrick being the Square rep, which is interesting, because it is worth noting that Vergaben has not been wrong outside of Smash. He got the entire base roster correct. I mean, you could also say, but Billy, you predicted the entire base roster and rate their chances. Yeah, but I'm not a leaker, he is. I mean, Vergaben has been wrong outside of Smash. Okay? But so far in Smash, he hasn't really said anything wrong. I mean, everything he has said came to pass. Incineroar and Ken, Isabelle, Simon Belmont, characters all returning. Like, he hasn't got much wrong. And you can even justify the Minecraft Ender Dragon thing, because the Rathalos dragon in the files is called End Dragon, so of course that makes sense. Like, maybe it could have been the Minecraft Ender Dragon. You know, it makes sense, genuinely. I can't believe they found a way to justify that. I genuinely am shocked about that. Burgerman has credible sources, as do my dogs. Apparently they want to give you some credible sources. It's also worth noting that other prominent leaker, Tansut, who leaked Smashfall's Cloud and the date of the final Smash presentation, is also adamant about Erdrick, and given he has leaked Square Enix content before, makes sense that maybe we should believe him. Now, the arguments against Erdrick. Let's go. So, he is owned by multiple parties, making him difficult to obtain the rights for, and everyone says, no, it's not true. Many people assume Armor Project, Bird Studios, and other studios own some of the rights to Dragon Quest due to them being credited in many Dragon Quest games, when in reality, Square Enix just outsources the development to these studios. They don't actually own anything. Ah well, okay, makes sense. Fair enough. That being said, I still think Akira Toriyama would still be a little bit of an issue there. You gotta work with him as well. Square Enix is greedy. Final Fantasy only has 2 music tracks, only a few spirits. They wouldn't give us another character. Square Enix doesn't even own the rights to the Final Fantasy music, guys. In fact, Final Fantasy music rights are a complete and utter mess. So many people have a slice of the Final Fantasy music rights pie. We only got 2 Final Fantasy tracks because of how many people need to be paid to license a Final Fantasy music track worldwide. Dragon Quest does not have this issue, as all of the Dragon Quest music is owned by one person, and it would be significantly cheaper and easier to license. As for Square giving us only 4 spirits, it's not like this is unique to them. Namco gave us only 6 spirits, all of which were characters and objects already in Smash in some form. 1 was Pac-Man, 1 was Mother Fairy, who was featured in Pac-Land, 1 was the bonus fruit present in Pac-Man's moveset, 1 were the ghosts, who were also an assist trophy, 1 was Turn to Blue, which is just a variation of the ghosts, and the final one was Galaga, which was an item. That being said, that's really all that's unique in the Pac-Man games that people actually care about. The problem with Square that people are bringing up is the fact that we got no Final Fantasy spirits. We got Geno, and we got Cloud, and we got 2 other spirits, but we didn't get anything from the franchise that Cloud is representing. And given that Super Smash Bros. Is meant to be this gaming crossover, I can understand why people are understandably miffed and concerned when Square wasn't able to get us any Final Fantasy spirits. It's just frustrating, you know, and I understand why people are concerned. But it's also possible that Square Enix spirits are being saved when Erdrick would be released, except we don't know if new spirits will be added for... Well, no, because we could get the Dragon Quest spirits. That would make sense, but if they released, like, Final Fantasy spirits with the Dragon Quest spirits, it wouldn't make sense. Because why would you do that? Why wouldn't they be in the base game? So the Dragon Quest composer is a racist. Nintendo wouldn't associate with him. Well, according to this person, Hideki Kamiya, the creator of Bayonetta, is also controversial, and he's a little bit rude. Very, very, very rude. But the Dragon Quest composer is greedy. We would only get MIDI tracks. Well, he knows how profitable it is, but he still bloody wouldn't give the Western audience Dragon Quest XI proper tracks in the PS4 release. So, you know, it is what it is. He has a bias in favor of Nintendo. Well, we have to wait and see. I do think that they probably already had to negotiate with him because we are getting so many Dragon Quest games coming to the Switch this year, so of course he had to have been consulted for those. And I do think that he probably will allow the use of the orchestrated tracks in these games and in Smash, if only because it's 2019 and for fuck's sake, nobody gives a damn anymore. People just... people don't want to just have to keep arguing against a brick wall, and there's just no place in the industry for people like that anymore. A higher up at Disney of Japan said he'd be fine with Sora in Smash. That's one higher up at Disney in Japan. His reflex do not reflect all of Disney in Japan. It's also important to note that Disney of America would also be more crucial in negotiations, as Disney is predominantly Western, which is true. Kumazaki tweeted about Erdrick recently and referred to him as the Brave. This would break NDA. and he's no longer involved with Smash Brothers. He's only credited in Ultimate as the original game director, meaning he was the director for 64, and that's it. While the post doesn't hint anything or break NDA, it does show Brave being a legitimate translation of Yusha. It could still be considered like he's just leaking the character, though. It may not break NDA because he's not affiliated with the series, but God, if he even like heard anything like that, bam, easy. Slime is more requested than Erdrick. When people say this, they point to this poll, and Slime placed 15th. The assumption people make is that this is a Japanese poll of people who want Smash Ultimate, when it's actually a poll of what people expect to get in. Big difference. Before Cloud was announced, many people had expected Black Mage to be the first Final Fantasy rep, but then Cloud got in. Erdrick was in. Why didn't they announce him last Direct when they were talking about Dragon Quest XI-S? They literally said at the end of the segment there'll be new information to share in the future, which means we're probably going to get more Dragon Quest news, and we're probably going to get Erdrick along with it. Yay! Wouldn't Disney Channel's Nintendo Switch contest mean that I am not even going to go into this? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Disney and Nintendo are not going to have an issue with Sora. We know that Disney are okay with Sora being in Smash. Why do we have to make this an argument? Okay, just skipping it. Brave stats are floaty. Erdrick wouldn't be floaty. These jumps look floaty to me. There are some videos linked as well that you can take a look if you're scrolling through this Word document with me. And Brave stats aren't even floaty. Brave, despite having a gravity stat of 0.9, is a fast faller. Okay, Erdrick is just another sword fighter. There's nothing unique about him. And he has a large variety of weapons he can pull from, but he's not gonna pull from them. Fucking hell no. He's not gonna bring out axes, whips, lances, shields, sickles, clubs, and daggers, and boomerangs. I mean, come on. The only sword fighter in this damn game who uses a variety of their arsenal is Link with his boomerang and his bombs. Everyone else, they're stuck to their default weapon and whatever they can do with extra powers that don't involve other weapons. It's not gonna happen. Sakurai may have moves like his smash attack Sora using some of his other weapons, like Simon Belmont or Richter Belmont. The question is though, are his other weapons like important enough to his character to warrant that? That's the real question. He also uses magic. Okay, he uses fire magic, lightning magic, buff magic, sleep magic, and more. Wow, it's Robin, guys. I'm sorry, it does sound very similar to Robin, and I don't know, he could be one of the most unique sword fighters in Smash, but Robin already is that. Like, I feel like he sounds very much like Robin, but maybe with the tool set of Simon and Richter Belmont, which, interesting, but I'd hesitate to call him a sword fighter at that point. So yeah, that is it. That is the Google Doc. Wow, that was a long Google Doc. Okay. So it does reinforce why I feel Erdrick is going to be in. There are just so many points going for Erdrick as opposed to going against him. And I do think Erdrick is 100% very likely. If it's not Erdrick, I do think Sora is the other option from Square Enix. I don't see anyone else really getting in there. I know some people will like maybe Chrono, but you know, that's just wish fulfillment. It won't happen. But Erdrick will probably get revealed and things will happen and we will all be happy and we will all move on to the next character who hopefully is Banjo or Steve, because I would love either or. So thank you everyone for watching this video. The link to the document is down below. I didn't post any images of the document because obviously I was paraphrasing a lot of what was in there, so I didn't want to just kind of post screenshots that may have had no idea or no effect with the document. So if you want to read through the document yourself and just kind of like read this amazing read, it's a brilliant read, I really like it, the link is down below. So thank you everyone for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to check out my previous videos if you haven't already, and make sure to stay tuned for more Smash, Minecraft, and other gaming content on the channel. If you're interested, please consider joining my Discord. We have a link down below. Nice place, nice place. We have a Smash chat. We have gaming. I talk there, and I'm really sarcastic and very cold, but you know, that's just because I'm a cold person. But yeah, it exists, and if you want to join it, the link is down below. So thanks for watching, guys, and shout out to the creators of this document, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Actually, let me go through the little credits, actually, because there are credits. Credits written by Mint Pepsi, edited and revised by Grapevine. SN Mario also helped out, Mimic Valley Server helped out, Star Dude helped out, and Super Guy helped out as well. So thank you to all of them. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys!